Hello YouTube, welcome to another model railway workbench video. Here with me Matt on this rather scorchingly hot July day. I think it's the 25th of July, so it's probably going to be the hottest day down here of the year. In front of me here you can see a Bachmann Wickham trolley car or a rail car, which is usually used for engineers and just track checking and various other bits and pieces. It's probably one of the smallest models that has been released so far from a main manufacturer, and the reason why it's on the workbench today is because I've always had this plan or idea of using bits of an article I read in Hornby Magazine, which was out 2017 July, I think it was last year in 2017. And the article was on basically putting sound and DCC in one of these tiny little things by fitting it all in the roof. However, in that article there was also adding some lights in the front of the actual vehicle, and there's also one on the rear of this one as well. This is a BR liveried one. I think they're Type 27s, I think they're known as. So the idea is to try and put lights in this model. As you can see, it's absolutely tiny from the scale on the cutting mat here. I have already semi-started this one. So if I turn it round towards the camera, and you can see on the front here, you can see the light area here. Now this was just moulded plastic with a painted silver front. So what I've basically done is followed the instructions of the article using a 2mm drill and also a 0.5mm drill. The 0.5 I usually use first to find the center point of this light, and I drill all the way through the light holder and then through the center pillar of this window behind, coming out into the cab area. I would advise as well holding the light bezel or the light holder with some blind pliers or some tweezers, just to hold it steady while you're drilling with a small pin vise. You don't want to use anything powerful on this, like a Dremel or a small mini drill or something like that. You just need a gentle drilling process, if you know what I mean, so not to snap this off the small holder underneath. Same with the front and the rear. Now there's two lights, so I say front and rear, and I'd like to do both of them if possible and fit all the bits in. So you can see here I've drilled it out with a 2mm and also put a centre hole through the middle and through the pillar post, window post, ready to receive an LED. Now this is absolutely tiny. As you can see on this model, everything is pretty small. So the article says to use Nano LEDs. Now if I pick one up, you might not be able to see this just in front here. This is the LED. It's about 1.5mm by a mil. Absolutely tiny. It's a white light, colour white. To be used on diesels and various other modern traction, if you like. These, as I say, are known as Nano LEDs, and I purchased these from DCC Concepts for, I think it's about £9 for 6, just in case I mess any up. And that comes with 6 of these LEDs and a number of resistors, which you can see here. These are quite small, so I might be able to fit them around somewhere inside underneath, so that's quite useful. But just to show you the size difference, so that's the small one that's going in the actual rail car, and this is the ones that I used for some lamps on my layout, which are a similar type of LED. If I can get it out of the packet, that would be useful. So you can see the one down here, which is the one going into. So you can see the one down here, which is going into this rail car, and this is the normal size. This is about 2 or 3 mil. You can see the size difference there, absolutely tiny compared to this large one. I use these in my lights on my platform, which I converted from the ratio ones, which was done by a chap called, I think it's Barry, Bullied Boy, I think his name is, on various forums. But that's the little one I'm using, and these wires you can see are coated so they don't short against each other. So when you cut them and you want to solder them, you have to scrape off the protective coat on top of the wires so you can solder them onto either the PCB board or resistor. So to get underneath as well into this model, obviously I've drilled through the front and the rear as well, and what I need to do is run the wires from there down into the chassis. So underneath the chassis there are 2 screws, self-tapping screws. I've taken them out on this one already, front and rear, you can see there in the light, and that just separates body from the chassis. There's your chassis and there's your body. So what I need to do as well is drill a hole right at the front here, going up through the centre console where the engine would be under, so to the front of this lug for the screw, through the centre, out the top. So I need to feed the wires through the front, do a 90-degree downward bend going into here. Now looking in there, I've got quite a bit of room, so I might be able to hide those resistors in here without causing too many issues. What I might also do in the future is create a plug so I can unplug the top from the bottom, but I don't think I'll be doing that too much, if I'm honest with you. I'll be adding some crew in this at some point as well. So that's what I need to do. Take that out of the way for a minute. You can see into the chassis here. You can see the pickups and bits and pieces inside. So I need to get in there and find somewhere to solder these wires onto, which shouldn't be too problematic, I don't think. And also you can go at it from the underneath as well by taking the base plate off as well. So join me back in a little while and we'll get started by threading that very small LED through various small holes on the body. Okay, welcome back. So after the last half an hour trying to put some too small wires through 2 very small holes, I've now finally managed to get them through those holes and out through the cab front and then back down towards the chassis. So you can see the wires here, which are dangling out from underneath. The LED is not glued in yet, but it is in the actual light bezel as it was. And now what I need to do is check I've got the LED facing the right way. These LEDs are so small, it is worth checking on the small battery just to make sure that it works. I've got a little PP9 battery and I've got the wires here just to check if it is facing the right way. And there we go, just a little bit of flicker on there. So there you are, there's the LED illuminated on the front, and that works fine, and that is the right way around. There's a small green mark on the back of the LED which sort of notifies the back of it, and as you can see the wires are coming out from the centre here, coming out underneath. Okay, about 4 hours later we're now back in one piece. It's quite a tight squeeze with all the resistors which are actually lying alongside the coils which are on the PCB board, and they're wrapped up in some insulating tape. I will be probably replacing it in the future with some insulating tube, basically some heat shrink. But at the moment it is working and it is back in one piece. So let's try it out. So This is in forwards. That's about 30 miles an hour, or 25 to 30. And you can see a nice low illumination on the front of it. And also on the rear there is no light at all at this point in time. Just to prove it, we'll go the other way, slow it down. And we'll switch it to reverse. There's no light on this side, and it's running the other way. If we swap the other way around, and in reverse, you can see the light is also working on the rear of the trolley. So that pretty much brings me to the end of putting lights in this little beast, as it was very tight squeeze, a very tight room to work in and get the resistors and all the wires in without causing any shorts. As you can see, it's running fine, not a problem, and it's all illuminated, and this is all on DC, not DCC, so it can be done. Basically the wiring, one LED, the positive is on one side going forwards and has been checked with a battery, and the other one is the opposite way around, so the positive is on the negative, and that means it will work in reverse and it'll be not working on the rear, causing no problems or no smoke or no problems with the motor or whatever. So that is how that is done. It's neatly tucked away without too much damage. Hope you enjoyed this small video, and see you again in the next one.